Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sports Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
There has been an awakening. Have you felt it?
Dillian White gave an exclusive interview to Sky Sports, and he was talking about his next opponent on October the 28th on the Joshua Takam undercard, where he will be fighting for the WBC silver title against Finland's Robert Helenius. And he's talking about Helenius, and of course he's talking about Deontay Wilder and all this kind of thing, ready for a world title fight. As of right now, after Wilder fights and probably beats Bermane Stiverne, with Luis Ortiz will probably get dropped, you would imagine, then Dillian White will leapfrog all of them and become the #1 contender. So this is what Dillian White had to say. I'm ready to rock. It's a good fight with Helenius. No one can deny me a world title fight if I win this fight. No one can say I'm not ready or I haven't fought anybody. No one can ever say that. I'm ranked highly across the board and I'm fighting a legitimate contender. I've seen Helenius. He's a good fighter, very well rounded with a good jab and good boxing ability. You can see he's got a very good amateur career. I just want to entertain and give the fans good fights, because the fans are behind me constantly, support me, so I walk out there and do my thing. I don't want to walk out there to have wars, but if it comes down to it, I'll have it, no problem. I hope that Helenius does stand and trade, because if he does, I might trade with him back, or I could just use my boxing skills. As far as Deontay Wilder goes, who knows what he's going to be doing next. For all I know, he might well decide to fight Audie Harrison again after this one instead of me. So that was Dillian White's statement. So, yeah, if he was to beat Robert Helenius now, Helenius is ranked #9 in the WBO, and Dillian White is ranked #6, I believe. So that will boost him up the WBO and, of course, solidify his #1 in the WBC. Now, he says that nobody will deny him the fight with Wilder, but I think the WBC may well deny Dillian White the fight with Wilder, and of course Wilder will probably do all he can to avoid that fight too, as he's been quite clearly ducking Dillian White. He's made that very, very clear to everybody who knows anything about this whole situation. Deontay Wilder has ducked Dillian White on a couple of occasions now, even though there's a $4 million offer on the table and he still turned it down. But anyway, if he was to beat Robert Helenius, yes, that will solidify him. But the WBC are just going to hold back any kind of mandatory or any kind of fight like that. If anything, they'll probably put Dillian White in with the winner of Dominic Breazeale and Eric Molina, who fights on the Wilder Stiverne undercard on November the 4th. And then the winner of that will probably become mandatory. Why? Because they don't want to just give Dillian White the mandatory, even though he'll be #1, like they did with Stiverne. So instead, they'll probably make him fight Dominic Breazeale or Eric Molina, even though neither of these guys are ranked anywhere near the top. But even so, I'm sure Dillian would take it. But they will give Wilder voluntary after voluntary after voluntary after voluntary, like they have done ever since he's won the title 2.5 to 3 years ago now. So I believe that's what WBC are going to do. I don't think they're going to put him in with Dillian White. Why? Because Dillian White is a legitimate threat to Deontay Wilder. And Deontay Wilder doesn't want Dillian White for the same reason. He doesn't want to lose his belt for $4 million when he can go lose his belt for $7 or $8 million against Anthony Joshua. That's what he's doing, you see. He's waiting for the AJ payday, and he will avoid all big name threats. You can talk about Luis Ortiz, but you know, he's come out quite clearly, and Deontay Wilder has said, we know everybody who's on PEDs, so therefore he must have known that Luis Ortiz was on this high blood pressure medication, or in fact popping. So make up that one as you will. So Dillian White, he's going to get the #1 spot one way or another, whether he's awarded it after this fight or whether he's got to go through Breazeale Molina winner. But either way, he's coming for Deontay Wilder. Eddie Hearn has said that Deontay Wilder should face Dillian White next. Basically because Deontay Wilder, he's had an easy ride of it ever since he's become champion. In fact, even before he's become champion, he's had a very, very easy ride of it, and all he wants to do is sneak his way in through the back door to get the AJ payday. Why? Because he holds the belt. He's a title holder. He's not a champion. He's a title holder. A champion would have taken on the best, but clearly he hasn't taken on the best. He's coming in last minute. I mean, what the hell? This isn't World War II, you know, where you know, you can just come in last minute again. This is a legitimate boxing match. What's wrong with you? Why don't you go out there and put a name on your record? If you can beat Dillian White, which I don't believe you can, but if you do, then you have a legitimate name on your record. People in the UK who are big, hardcore Anthony Joshua fans, but in boxing circles are casuals who don't really know Deontay Wilder too much, but they do know Dillian White. If you can get the Dillian White's scalp, that is your contribution to building up the fight. You talking on social media is not a contract offer. You shouting bomb squad here, there and everywhere isn't promoting it. You have done nothing to earn the right to fight Anthony Joshua. So instead, what you should do is go fight Dillian White. If you get past him, at least you've got some kind of credible name, because I don't want people saying Anthony Joshua destroyed Deontay Wilder. Well, that was obvious because Deontay Wilder fought nothing but bums, therefore he was just a bum himself. In other words, Joshua will get no credit. But if he does fight Dillian White, like I said, Dillian White will beat Deontay Wilder. He'll be the first person that Wilder's ever fought that people go, you know what, Wilder could lose this one. And then, guess what? He is going to lose that one. And then he loses out on the massive payday, which is what he really wants. He knows that he's coming to an end now, where the Wolves are closing in now. And he's going to have to fight one of the big dogs. Luis Ortiz, that fell through. Dillian White next. But Dillian White's going to beat you. And then it'll be Dillian White in a rematch with Anthony Joshua for the unified world titles in the summer. So, like the video, drop yourself a comment and click that subscribe button.